I haven't approached anyone. I've hid.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. But I was right about one of those things. 20 years ago, neither of them could walk now, could they?
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought. Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing...
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on radio. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. That one.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston.
Fat and plump. Like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross. Shoot me.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt him.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls. Better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. No. I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
And I blew them all. What is it? All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water. He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist.
That bourgeois cow, Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual and money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was, and she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work. Called in, they say, on the eve of battle. Ran away, vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite.
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter.
No, I guess it was not. She couldn't make the call.
Here it is. The Ben.
Because she was dead. Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. All bled. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried heading home to Grand Coron or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her and the ruins. Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is...
Another big spike of rage. Different.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the... If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here. in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything. I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a... Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal.
The same old freezing. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Glad we talked about what? I ain't going.
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten you're there. His lip curls.
Glad we talked about what?
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing. It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even. Not senile. Is this some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Like some kind of decadent rock star. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach things. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled. The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten. For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited... The old man stares despondently. What strikes you? Indeed, it's a You see, is this some kind of...
No.
It's not a downer.
Like some kind of decadent... No, I...
There it is. Could it be a symptom of overdosing?
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week. Do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting black.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat. Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here.
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now. There it is again, to your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. Something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small...
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is this...
Your skin crawls. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like kiting.
What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. You smell.
It is.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully.
No, the flash will scare the creature off. Warn him now.
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs, a series of ultrasonic clicks. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick, sudden.
I don't think the pheromone will do anything.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air, slowly. The creature tilts its tiny head to the side and appears to look at you. It is incredibly light, like the slightest gust of wind should blow it away. But it doesn't. There is a sadness in there. Or is it in you? From the dream? It's still with you. The pitiful, hey, you told her. Even now. You barely get to take one step. The invertebrate reacts with The creature read like the hiss is different from the you smell.
It is.
You glance.
No, the flash will scare the creature.
We need a photo.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
I won't be one of those fools.
You see the phasmid turn to him. Its man.
Understood. Of course.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to. Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out, beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that's like laughter, a sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion. Suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life. its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are praying to you. Unwittingly, the insect continues its stridulations. As it moves, tuft-like structures, still pretending to be plants, rustle along on its job.
Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks...
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
I ate 6. Tell me what it's like for you. What is your illness? I am not. There isn't even a central nervous system in my head. Only mouth parts for eating white plants. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist. Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. Are you sure? Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna. No, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? Yes, no one detected me for such a long time. For thousands of years, I dithered, out of sight, trapped myself in greenery. No one believed I exist, almost no one, until you came, detective, dripping of blood that smells like strawberries, across the calm sea, the first in 1,000 years. No, you are awake. I am real. Light is foaming me. This is real. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily. I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Or read. Yum yum.
Wait, so...
Yes, they don't mind. Yes, I I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmalia, endemic to the Insulindia Isoma. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it.
No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Samanese islanders, I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51. Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry, it is only destructive over long.
The deserter. He's been here for a long time.
No, you are the miracle. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The tale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. You are a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident. We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget? No, you're only thinking it now. This is a revelation. So, it is already happening. One day, one of you will close your eyes and sign, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
It doesn't look like that, no. You're just staring at it. Okay. Is it somehow related to the case? I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
No, there is one more. also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class. She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
As you back off, the phasmid also takes a step back into the reeds. Something tells you the next time the arthropod follows you with its antennae. As you back off, the cracks and hisses of the tape that's come to it. Hissing and clicking.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen.
I got it.
For all time. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the kiting curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your finger. The sensation is electrifying, resounding through your body. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. It's hollow. Warning! A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think. It tastes like sugar, very faint. The arthropod towers above you, odorless, mostly comprised of water. The limb, warning! A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes. There is some kind of countdown happening as it slowly processes the overwhelming brightness of the signal. The invertebrate is regaining here. Within the smooth white inner part of its limb, you sense something very intimate. Thoughts.
The nervous system could be spread out like that, over the extremities, like a cuttlefish.
Or a rhyocinta, an occidental leaf insect, with its brain stored in 4 leaf-like extensions. Or another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small, as you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone. Apparently, yes. like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
In some kind of strange...
Our suspect is not looking so good.
What is it? What do you want from...
Something is very wrong with him now.
See?
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, like an addict of some terrible substance. A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hand...
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
The trembling mouth appears to suck.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. Old age and shock. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
There's much more. Remember what? Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here.
No response.
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it. Mr. Dross, have you ever seen... The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse. It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe, I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall. Like a drug? His pupils appear to be dilated. They still are. Told you? Yes, good. During your long staring match, I understand. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him, like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report.
No one would believe you without it.
Old age and shock. Yes.
There's quite a few things about that.
He did seem... I have absolutely...
No one would... He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should... No reaction. His breathing is slow, and he... This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains.
Let's have a closer look at that after. I think I'll be more useful than him.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is... The blacks of his eyes are receding. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be...
The skiff is...
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back, but for the sound of conversation on the water. There is someone inland. 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought in. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
I'm bothered by it. Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Battle Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you after pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your action.
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best anything. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact...
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit, kid. What an interesting moniker.
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
And people on the street helped us too, with your whereabouts.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
Yes, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I never said I wasn't Trent Heilerstein. Mikhail? Mikhail's my son. No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence. What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s. Like partial psych...
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on. Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trent fucking Heidelstein, and Guillaume Baby.
I'm technically just a...
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing...
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G. Bevy. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so...
He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing. For both of you.
Do? It's a major crimes unit. We cleared the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die.
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we? Sure, you're not a superstar law official. Talk on the town is your Guillaume Le Million reincarnate. I know this shit. Nothing has changed. The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is work.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socially? Not when you phrase it like that, but I don't think critical theory. I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
No, not like that. I'm not talking vrede for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is...
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before. Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case.
So you don't remember not remembering. The two cases in your ledger. The unsolvable case and the those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the ruins, the neon, listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world team, To borrow a non-metaphor, Harry's been pushed flat against it, hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its...
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension? Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand. You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground. Some 2 minutes. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid thing.
He has it. He has it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and gun are natural states. What is it with all these material objects?
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone. So you forgot to drink? I don't buy it. Why do you smell?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Detective, please. Don't start talking about your pheromone again. This is serious.
Then you'll be fired. This is a hearing. Toughen up.
I don't believe you. You're drunk. You let a suspect escape, a certain classier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuragis. We know.
Oh, well, if you let her go, I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect who escaped. Or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a huge compared to the 7 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking...
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot, not once, but twice. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Yefreter Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He says disco about 20 times a day. It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd.
You should yell something. Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
Other still, he is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know. But he is vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
Detective? The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not...
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political...
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICN...
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory.
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Possibly induced. But even without that, these men spent 50 years on the islands in the bay, in solitude, loathing what Ravachol has become. There's plenty for prosecution to pick from in terms of motive. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dra...
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more way more.
Perfect vaulting mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on...
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there, like in your bones or something. It will pass in time.
Female?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates. Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs. As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior.
That makes sense, yes.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe... Yes. That would be a chiromone. A pheromone that's seemingly beneficial to the host. It usually stimulates the affected nervous system. Not a human's, of course, but perhaps a predator's? There are species of bees that, under the influence of pheromones, take wasp larvae to their hives. Ants do the same with aphids, thinking they're... Do you think...
Nothing is off the table. But I want to stress this. The find does not have to be connected to the case. The case is one...
Of course, Lieutenant. Of course. We should treat the case and the phasmid as completely separate from each other. People are not going...
They're not going to go for this speculation in the constabulary.
Like the cephalopods? Phasmids, I think, only have nerves in their heads and abdomens, though. There is a correlation between invertebrate size and intelligence.
No, I wouldn't say it was...
At that size, this creature would have a lot of surface area to put neurons into. It's basic geometry.
Yes, but also reed-colored.
Get off.